Mist hung low over the ruins of an ancient castle, the stones slick with centuries of rain, each one a silent witness to secrets long buried. The wind whispered through the empty corridors, carrying echoes of chants and armor clanging in the halls where no one now walked. It was a place that seemed untouched by time, yet beneath its foundations, history throbbed with the pulse of a power few dared to speak of. The Knights Templar, the legendary order of warrior monks, had once moved through the world like shadows, invisible yet omnipresent, and now, centuries after their supposed destruction, the question lingered. How could an organization so powerful, so wealthy, and so influential vanish almost overnight from the pages of history? How could an empire, one that stretched across kingdoms and continents, be erased so completely that what remained seemed almost myth? The story begins in the early 12th century, in the Holy Land, where the First Crusade had left Europe hungry for both redemption and riches. 9 men took a solemn vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience, pledging themselves to protect pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem. They called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, a name that would eventually be shortened to the Knights Templar. At first, they were a small, devoted brotherhood, a few dozen men who rode out to defend the defenseless. But the seeds of something far greater had been sown. Within decades, these humble knights became the architects of a new kind of empire, one built not only on the sword but on knowledge, wealth, and influence that reached far beyond the battlefield. The Templars' rise was swift and unprecedented. By the mid-12th century, they had become the financiers of kings, lending gold to rulers who could barely control their own treasuries. They were granted lands across Europe, castles on the borders of Christendom, and privileges that placed them above the law in many kingdoms. They established a network of commanderies, fortified houses where knights, sergeants, and servants lived, trained, and stored the treasures of the order. But these were not just military outposts. They were nodes in a secret network, each carefully positioned like points on a cosmic grid. Scholars and mystics have long suggested that the placement of these commanderies was no accident, that the Templars had discovered hidden knowledge in Jerusalem, knowledge that allowed them to shape power and influence in ways ordinary men could not comprehend. Stories of what the Templars had uncovered in the ruins beneath Solomon's temple circulate in whispers, preserved in chronicles, letters, and later, in the esoteric traditions of secret societies that claimed descent from the order. Some say they found sacred relics, objects of unimaginable significance, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, or ancient texts containing lost wisdom. Others suggest they uncovered knowledge of the natural world, of mathematics, astronomy, and the laws that govern wealth and influence, far beyond the understanding of contemporary Europe. Whatever it was, it gave the Templars an advantage unlike any other. They became both spiritual warriors and keepers of secrets that could shape the course of empires. Yet for all their power, there was something almost ghostly about the Templars, a quality that made them as feared as they were revered. They moved through Europe like shadows, invisible to the common man, yet impossible for kings and popes to ignore. Their ships carried not only men and weapons, but gold, documents, and knowledge across the Mediterranean. Their code of conduct, their discipline, and their secrecy allowed them to operate above the chaos of the medieval world. And as they expanded their influence, they became both the guardians and the manipulators of power, creating an empire that existed in plain sight, yet hidden from the eyes of those who would seek to control it. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it seemed to vanish. On a cold October morning in 1307, agents of King Philip IV of France struck. Knights were arrested, tortured, and executed on charges of heresy, blasphemy, and corruption. The order was formally disbanded by the Pope in 1312. Yet the deeper mystery remains. How could so many knights, so much wealth, and so extensive a network simply disappear? Ships vanished, treasures were never recovered, and records of their global operations evaporated. Some historians argue that the Templars were crushed like any other rebellious faction, that the king's wrath and the papal decree were enough to end the order. But closer examination reveals inconsistencies, anomalies, and unexplained survivals that suggest the story of their fall was carefully curated, a narrative designed to hide a truth far more complex. Because perhaps they were not destroyed at all. Perhaps they went underground, taking with them not only gold and relics, but also the knowledge and networks that had made them the first truly global power. Perhaps the Templar Empire did not die. It transformed. It became invisible, woven into the very fabric of European politics, commerce, and secret society. The castles and commanderies may have been abandoned, but the empire itself persisted, hidden in plain sight, carried forward by those who understood that the greatest power is the one you control without anyone knowing it exists. And so, as the mist thickened over the ruined stone walls, one could almost imagine the ghostly figures of knights riding again through Europe, their banners fading into the fog, their secrets intact. What had begun as a brotherhood of devout men became a shadow empire, a force that shaped the medieval world and may still influence the modern one. The story of the Knights Templar is not merely a tale of knights and battles. It is the story of hidden power, of a secret that was so dangerous it could not be allowed to survive in the open. And yet, it survived anyway, waiting to be discovered by those willing to look beyond the surface, to question the narrative, and to follow the trail of the first global power the world never knew it had. In the wake of the First Crusade, Europe was gripped by a frenzy of spiritual devotion and a burning desire for conquest. The Holy Land, once under Muslim control, had been retaken by Christian knights who, emboldened by their victory, turned their eyes to Jerusalem. It was a city of sacred significance, the center of the Christian world, but it was also a land fraught with danger. Pilgrims from across Europe made their way to Jerusalem, seeking solace at holy shrines, but many never returned, victims of robbers, bandits, and the harsh realities of the journey. The roads leading to the holy city were perilous, and the need for protection was dire. It was into this dangerous world that the Knights Templar were born. Formed in 1119 by a small group of French knights, the order began with an act of devotion and necessity. 9 knights, led by Hugues de Payens, took a solemn vow to protect pilgrims on their journey to Jerusalem. At first, their mission was modest, guarding the roads, ensuring safe passage, and offering spiritual comfort. But there was something uniquely transformative about this small band of brothers. They weren't just soldiers of Christ. They were the first of their kind, men who combined the spiritual with the martial, who swore to uphold both the ideals of monastic life and the harsh realities of warfare. This fusion of devotion and duty would become their hallmark, setting them apart from any other military order. As the years passed, the Templars grew in number and stature. They were granted land and wealth by the Church, not as a charity, but as a means of supporting their sacred mission. Their military prowess soon became legendary. The Templars fought with the discipline and fervor of monks, but with the deadly skill of seasoned warriors. The Crusades raged on, and the order expanded its reach. By the mid-12th century, the Templars controlled vast tracts of land across Europe and the Levant, from Spain to Jerusalem, from France to Scotland. Their castles dotted the European landscape, fortresses strategically placed to protect their interests and to keep watch over the lands they controlled. But it wasn't just military might that made the Templars so powerful. There was another force at work, their ability to amass wealth. By the end of the 12th century, the Templars had developed one of the most sophisticated financial networks in Europe. Their success was in part due to their status as trusted agents of the Church and the kings of Europe. They were exempt from local laws and taxes, and this special status allowed them to accumulate vast wealth without interference. They became bankers to royalty, lending money to kings and queens who were often in need of funds for wars or personal debts. The Templars had the means to fund the Crusades, to build great fortresses, and to maintain a global network of commanderies. But they also used their wealth to expand in ways that went beyond simple warfare. What is perhaps most fascinating about the rise of the Templars is the mystery surrounding their financial system. They were not just wealthy, they were ahead of their time. In an era when banking was a primitive practice, the Templars were the first to introduce the concept of letters of credit. Pilgrims could deposit their money with the Templars in one country and, with a letter from the order, withdraw it in another. This system revolutionized medieval finance, making the Templars not just the protectors of pilgrims, but also the custodians of international capital. They controlled an early form of banking that spanned continents, their financial network stretching from the Holy Land to Europe, from Asia Minor to the coasts of the Mediterranean. But the true power of the Templars lay not just in their military conquests or their financial innovations, but in their secretive nature. The order operated in the shadows, cloaked in secrecy. They were monks, yes, but they were also soldiers, and their knowledge of warfare, finance, and strategy was unrivaled. Their initiation rituals, their symbols, and their codes of conduct remained hidden from the outside world, known only to those who had been inducted into the order. The Templars were a brotherhood, bound by secrets that were guarded with their lives. No outsider knew the full extent of their operations, their networks, or the true extent of their influence. It was within this secretive world that the Templars began to amass not just wealth and power, but also knowledge. Legends circulated that the order had discovered ancient secrets beneath the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, that they had uncovered forgotten wisdom from the lost civilizations of antiquity. The idea that the Templars had access to esoteric knowledge that transcended religion and reached into the realms of alchemy, mysticism, and the occult, was a tantalizing thought. Some scholars have suggested that this knowledge was a key part of the Templars' success, that they understood the hidden forces of the universe and used this understanding to build their empire. Whether it was ancient texts, occult symbols, or mathematical knowledge, the Templars were believed to have harnessed something beyond mere earthly power. As the Templars expanded, their influence spread far beyond the battlefield. They established commanderies across Europe, creating a vast network that was not only military, but political and economic. In many ways, the Templars were the first multinational corporation, with holdings in multiple countries and a global reach. Their influence was so great that they were able to challenge the authority of kings and popes. At the height of their power, the Templars had more wealth, more land, and more control than many of the monarchs they served. They were an empire within an empire, a shadow power that operated in the heart of Christendom, bending the world to its will. But as the Templars grew in power, so too did their enemies. The Church, though a patron of the order, began to view their growing influence with suspicion. Monarchs who once relied on the Templars for financial support began to question their authority, fearing the order's wealth and independence. The Templars were a law unto themselves, answerable only to the Pope, and this exemption from royal and ecclesiastical oversight made them increasingly unpopular with those who sought to control the flow of power in Europe. Yet, despite this growing tension, the Templars remained resolute. They were an empire built on faith and discipline, bound by secrecy and an unwavering belief in their sacred mission. But as the 13th century drew to a close, cracks began to appear in the once invincible order. The rise of new political forces, combined with the growing threat of internal corruption and betrayal, began to weaken the Templars. But no one could have foreseen the catastrophic events that would follow, events that would alter the course of history and send the once mighty order into a spiral of destruction. What followed was a fall that was as sudden as it was complete, a fall that would leave the world asking, did the Templars truly disappear, or did they simply become something else, something even more powerful and elusive? Beneath the ancient stones of Jerusalem, hidden deep within the bowels of what was once Solomon's temple, lies a mystery that has captivated historians, scholars, and mystics for centuries. It is a secret that, some say, the Knights Templar discovered during their time in the Holy Land, a treasure, not of gold or jewels, but of knowledge. Knowledge so powerful, so dangerous, that it could change the course of history itself. This secret, some argue, was the real reason behind the meteoric rise of the Templar Order. But what was it? What could have been hidden beneath the temple that would turn a group of humble knights into the most powerful and enigmatic organization in Europe? And what if the very foundation of their power, the source of their wealth and influence, was something far beyond anything the world had ever seen? The Temple of Solomon, built in the 10th century BCE, was not only a place of religious significance, but also a symbol of divine order and hidden knowledge. The Bible speaks of it as the most sacred site in Judaism, a place where the Ark of the Covenant was said to have rested, holding the tablets of the Ten Commandments. But for centuries, the exact location of the Ark remained a mystery, lost to time. As the Crusaders took Jerusalem in 1099, many believe they had been given divine permission to reclaim the city and uncover its ancient secrets. It was during this time, in the aftermath of the Crusader conquest, that the Knights Templar first arrived in Jerusalem. In 1119, 9 knights, led by Hugues de Payens, established the Order of the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. They set up their headquarters on the Temple Mount, where the remains of Solomon's temple lay buried beneath layers of stone and earth. According to some accounts, the Templars began extensive excavations in search of relics, not just the famous Ark of the Covenant, but something even older and more arcane. Over the years, whispers emerged that the Templars had uncovered long-forgotten scrolls or artifacts that contained knowledge from an ancient, pre-Christian civilization. This knowledge, it is said, was not only spiritual, but also intellectual and scientific. A treasure trove of wisdom from the lost world of Atlantis, or perhaps even an earlier, more mysterious age. Historians have long speculated about the nature of this treasure. Some believe the Templars uncovered a collection of ancient Jewish texts, perhaps even writings that predated the Hebrew Bible. Others suggest that the order discovered something far more exotic, an esoteric tradition that had been passed down through the centuries, hidden from the eyes of the church and the public. The possibility that the Templars stumbled upon lost knowledge from the time of the ancient Egyptians, or even from the mysterious priests of Atlantis, has tantalized the imaginations of occultists and researchers alike. What was certain, however, was that the Templars seemed to have gained access to something that gave them an unparalleled edge over their contemporaries. As the Templars built their empire across Europe and the Levant, their growing wealth and power were, in part, thanks to this knowledge. The secrets they uncovered were not just spiritual, they were practical. The Templars became skilled in the arts of alchemy, numerology, and sacred geometry. Their cryptic symbols, the Templar cross, the pentagram, the fleur-de-lis, all pointed to a deeper understanding of the universe, one that went far beyond the teachings of the Church. Some have argued that this ancient knowledge may have included the secrets of immortality or a method of transforming base metals into gold. In fact, many believe the Templars possessed an alchemical wisdom that allowed them to amass such wealth so quickly. One of the most enduring theories is that the Templars discovered a hidden mathematical code embedded in the architecture of Solomon's temple itself. Sacred geometry, the belief that certain shapes and numbers are imbued with cosmic significance, was a key component of Templar thought. The famous Templar symbol of the compass and square, which later became a hallmark of Freemasonry, was thought to represent the mathematical principles that govern the universe. Could it be that the Templars had access to an ancient system of knowledge, a divine geometry, that allowed them to understand the hidden patterns of the world around them? Some even speculate that this knowledge was the key to their success in banking, allowing them to manipulate the flow of wealth across Europe with uncanny precision. As the Templars' influence spread, so too did rumors of the secrets they guarded. One of the most enduring legends is that they had uncovered the Ark of the Covenant, or at least its contents. The Ark, said to be the holiest of Jewish relics, was believed to hold the power of God. If the Templars did find the Ark, or if they uncovered scrolls containing ancient knowledge of its secrets, it would explain much of their later success. In the centuries that followed, various individuals and groups, from the Nazis to modern-day treasure hunters, have searched for the Ark, hoping to unlock its power. But could the Templars have been the first to discover its location, only to hide it from the world in order to keep its power for themselves? But there are other, more subtle theories. Some believe the Templars unearthed ancient texts, not of religious doctrine, but of forbidden science. The idea that the Templars possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and even medicine has long fascinated those interested in the hidden history of mankind. If the Templars had access to knowledge that was far ahead of its time, it would explain why they were able to outpace their rivals and control vast amounts of wealth and land. Their cryptic symbols, many of which appear in their castles and churches across Europe, may have been an encoded system of knowledge, meant to pass this wisdom down to future generations. The idea that the Templars were not just warriors, but also preservers of ancient knowledge opens up a world of possibilities. Possibilities that challenge everything we thought we knew about the medieval period and the origins of modern science. The true nature of what the Templars found remains shrouded in mystery, but one thing is certain. Their time in Jerusalem was not just about defending the faith, but about uncovering secrets that would shape the world for centuries to come. Whether they discovered ancient scrolls, arcane knowledge, or the very foundation of alchemical science, what they unearthed beneath the Temple Mount became the foundation of their empire. And as the centuries passed, these secrets, whether hidden in cryptic symbols or carefully guarded in Templar strongholds, would survive, carried forward by those who knew the power of the knowledge they had uncovered. By the dawn of the 14th century, the Knights Templar stood at the zenith of their power. Castles stretched across Europe, from the icy shores of Scotland to the warm sands of the Holy Land. The Templars had become more than just a military order. They were bankers, landowners, and, some whispered, a hidden empire in their own right. Yet, this great power was not to last. In a series of shocking and brutal events that would ripple through history, the Templar Order, the very heart of Christendom's military might, was brought to its knees, not by a foreign invader or an internal rebellion, but by the very monarchs and popes to whom they had sworn allegiance. It was 1307 when the storm began to gather. King Philip IV of France, known as Philip the Fair, had long coveted the immense wealth and influence of the Templars. He was deeply in debt to the order, having borrowed vast sums to fund his wars and political ambitions. But beyond the finances, there were rumors and fears, whispers that the Templars, with their secretive ways, had become too powerful, too independent. Their growing wealth and the control they exerted over vast territories made them a threat to the crown. Philip was not a man who would tolerate such a threat, especially not in a time when the monarchy's power was being slowly eroded by the Church. The Templars, who had once been trusted guardians of the faith, now found themselves the target of one of the most spectacular betrayals in history. On the morning of Friday, October 13th, 1307, a date that would later fuel all manner of superstitions, King Philip gave orders for the arrest of all Templar knights in France. The order came swiftly, like the strike of a hammer. Templars were taken from their beds, their castles and estates raided, and their vast holdings seized by the crown. The knights were accused of the most heinous of crimes: heresy, blasphemy, and sexual perversion. Charges included the worship of strange idols, denial of Christ, and even ritualistic acts of debauchery. Many historians have argued that these charges were fabricated, a convenient excuse for a monarch who wished to eliminate a growing rival. Others have suggested that the Templars, with their secret rituals and hidden knowledge, had become a target for forces within the church who were eager to suppress any challenge to their own power. Whatever the true reason, the trials that followed were a travesty. The Templars were tortured mercilessly, forced to confess to crimes they may or may not have committed. Under the weight of their suffering, some knights gave false confessions, implicating their brothers in rituals and conspiracies that had no basis in truth. The Pope, Clement V, initially reluctant to act against the order, was eventually pressured by Philip and his advisors to issue a papal bull that formally disbanded the Templars. In 1312, the order was officially dissolved by the Council of Vienne, and its assets were seized, its leaders executed, and its members scattered across Europe, many of them fleeing to distant lands. The fall of the Templars was swift and brutal, but the question remains, why? Why would an institution so powerful, so wealthy, and so influential be destroyed so completely? The answer may lie not just in Philip's desire for money and power, but in the ancient secrets the Templars were believed to have guarded. The Templars' knowledge, it seems, was far more than military tactics or financial strategies. Their secrecy, their mysticism, and their coded symbols suggested that they possessed something far more dangerous, knowledge that, if revealed, could disrupt the very fabric of medieval society. Historians have long debated what this forbidden knowledge might have been. Some believe it was the Ark of the Covenant, lost beneath the ruins of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. Others speculate that it was a trove of ancient texts, manuscripts, and esoteric wisdom that the Templars had uncovered during their time in the Holy Land. The legendary quest for the Holy Grail, which had been a central motif of the Crusades, may also have been part of the Order's hidden treasure. In some versions of the story, the Grail was not a physical object, but a symbol of hidden knowledge, a key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. Could it be that the Templars had discovered a piece of this knowledge, perhaps a powerful secret about the nature of life, death, and the divine? As the Templars were driven underground, their secrets did not vanish with them. The scattered remnants of the Order, the knights who managed to escape the Purge, found refuge in various corners of Europe. In particular, many are believed to have fled to Scotland, where a sympathetic king, Robert the Bruce, offered them protection. Over time, these remnants merged with other secretive groups, such as the Freemasons, who would later claim a mystical lineage tracing back to the Templars. It is said that the Templars' arcane knowledge, their symbols, and their teachings were passed down in secret, encoded within the rituals and symbols of Freemasonry. To this day, many Freemasons and esoteric traditions claim that they are the inheritors of Templar knowledge, that the secrets of the Templars live on, albeit in a hidden and cryptic form. The idea that the Templars' disappearance was not a true death, but a transformation has long been a part of their mystique. While the order was formally dissolved, the influence of the Templars did not fade into oblivion. The idea that the Templars became something else, something far more elusive and insidious, has captivated the imagination of countless conspiracy theorists and treasure hunters. Some believe that the Templars' treasure, their legendary hoards of gold and relics, remains hidden to this day, concealed in remote locations across Europe and the Americas. Others suggest that the Templars' influence continues to shape world events, operating through a network of secret societies and powerful elites who follow the ancient teachings of the order. In the centuries that followed their dissolution, the Templars became the stuff of legend. Tales of their lost treasure, their hidden knowledge, and their cryptic symbols fueled myths and rumors. From the Holy Grail to the Ark of the Covenant, from alchemy to secret codes, the Templars were portrayed as keepers of forbidden wisdom, guardians of knowledge too dangerous to be revealed to the masses. The idea that the Templars were destroyed to prevent them from revealing this knowledge only added to their mystique. The legacy of a Knights Templar, then, is not just a story of a medieval military order. It is a tale of hidden power, secret knowledge, and a centuries-long struggle for control over the forces that shape the world. Whether the Templars truly possessed the secrets of the universe, or whether their power was a product of their mystique and their ability to remain in the shadows, one thing is certain. Their story is far from over. For as long as their secrets remain buried, the fascination with the Templars will continue to grow, fueling the search for their lost treasure and the elusive truth behind their rise and fall. As the years passed after the fall of the Knights Templar, the Order's secrets did not die with its dissolution. The shadows cast by their sudden and brutal purge continued to stretch long across Europe, and whispers about the Templars' treasure, their ancient knowledge, and their arcane practices grew louder. The Templars may have been officially disbanded, their wealth seized, and their members persecuted, but the legend of their lost treasure and hidden wisdom persisted, and with it, the tantalizing notion that the Order had not been fully eradicated. In fact, some believe that the Templars, in their final days, may have been not merely an organization on the verge of collapse, but a clandestine movement that went underground, reshaping the course of history from the shadows. The most enduring myth surrounding the Templars is that they left behind a hidden treasure, a vast fortune of gold, religious relics, and forbidden knowledge. For centuries, treasure hunters, adventurers, and scholars alike have scoured the globe in search of this mythical hoard. From the rolling hills of France to the deserts of the Middle East, from the vaults beneath the Vatican to the remote forests of Scotland, the hunt for the Templar treasure continues to this day. But what if the treasure was never meant to be found? What if the Templars, knowing that their downfall was inevitable, hid their wealth and knowledge in plain sight, leaving clues scattered throughout the world to lead the worthy few to their legacy? Perhaps the greatest and most tantalizing clue lies in the intricate, cryptic symbols that the Templars left behind. These symbols, etched into the walls of their castles, carved into their tombstones, and woven into the very fabric of their architecture, have puzzled researchers and occultists for centuries. At first glance, they seem like simple markings, but many believe that these symbols hold a hidden meaning, a code that, when deciphered, will unlock the secrets of the Templars' hidden knowledge. The Templars were masters of sacred geometry, and their use of symbols was far from arbitrary. It's believed that they used these symbols to preserve ancient wisdom, to protect their secrets from prying eyes. One of the most famous examples of this hidden code is the mysterious labyrinths that appear in Templar churches and castles across Europe. Labyrinths, often found etched into the floors of churches or carved into the stone, were thought to represent the journey of the soul, a path of enlightenment. But could these labyrinths be more than just spiritual symbols? Could they be designed to guide initiates on a literal and metaphorical quest to uncover the Templars' treasure? Some researchers suggest that the labyrinths may be part of a larger map, a hidden blueprint of the Order's true purpose and the locations of their concealed hoards. If this is true, then the Templars' treasure was not merely gold and jewels, but a wealth of knowledge and power, waiting to be unlocked by those who could decipher the hidden messages woven into the Order's architecture. The fascination with Templar symbols and codes extends beyond their labyrinths. Consider, for example, the Templar cross, the forearm symbol that is the most recognizable emblem of the Order. Though it may seem straightforward, some believe the cross is a key to understanding the Templars' deeper mysteries. Its precise design, the relationship between the arms, and the angles at which they intersect all appear to follow principles of sacred geometry, a field that was of great importance to the Templars. Some scholars have suggested that the Templar cross is not just a religious symbol, but a map that leads to hidden locations, secret knowledge, or even lost artifacts. Beyond their symbols, the Templars' connection to other secretive organizations, most notably the Freemasons, has been a subject of intrigue for centuries. Theories abound that the Templars, in their final days, passed down their secrets to the Freemasons, who inherited their sacred knowledge and continued their work in secret. Freemasonry, with its hidden rituals, enigmatic symbols, and coded language, seems to bear a striking resemblance to the Templar Order in many ways. Both organizations are said to possess a deep knowledge of sacred geometry, alchemy, and the mysteries of the universe, and both have long been associated with powerful elites and secret societies, leading some to believe that the Freemasons, much like the Templars, have played an unseen role in shaping the course of history. But the idea that the Templars' influence lives on through secret societies like the Freemasons is not merely the stuff of legend. Throughout history, there have been countless examples of prominent individuals, kings, politicians, scholars, and even revolutionaries, who have been associated with these secretive organizations. From the founding fathers of the United States to powerful political families in Europe, the connection between the Templars and secret societies seems undeniable. Many believe that the Templars, in their final days, strategically embedded themselves into the heart of European society, ensuring that their influence would continue even as the order itself faded into obscurity. One of the most intriguing aspects of this hidden legacy is the notion that the Templars possessed knowledge that was far ahead of its time, knowledge that could potentially change the course of human history. Some researchers suggest that the Templars were not merely warriors or bankers, but custodians of a lost science, an ancient understanding of the world that has been suppressed or forgotten by mainstream history. This knowledge could have been related to advanced mathematics, astronomy, medicine, or even a deeper understanding of the cosmos. According to these theories, the Templars held the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe, and this knowledge, if revealed, could have reshaped the very foundations of modern science and philosophy. This brings us to the possibility that the Templars' treasure was not just material wealth or ancient artifacts, but the very knowledge they had preserved and hidden from the rest of the world. If this knowledge is still out there, hidden in the symbols and structures left behind by the Templars, then the quest to uncover it could be the most important treasure hunt in history. The Templars, in their secrecy and mysticism, may have left behind a blueprint for a new way of understanding the world, a treasure more valuable than gold, more elusive than any artifact, and more powerful than any weapon. Could it be that the Templars' true legacy is not in the riches they amassed, but in the profound wisdom they sought to protect? As the centuries pass and new generations continue to search for the Templars' treasure, the question remains, will the world ever unlock the secrets hidden by the Knights Templar? The mystery continues to endure, drawing treasure hunters, conspiracy theorists, and researchers into its depths. Whether the Templars' legacy is one of hidden knowledge, suppressed science, or an ancient treasure still waiting to be found, their story is far from over. And as long as the search continues, the legend of the Knights Templar will remain alive, a beacon calling to those brave enough to seek the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface of history. While the Templars were officially dissolved in 1312, the myth of their legacy continued to grow, nurtured by the very secrecy they had cultivated. The order's mysterious disappearance, coupled with the charges of heresy and blasphemy levied against them, only added fuel to the fire of speculation. As the years passed, the Templars' secrets did not fade into history. They became the stuff of legend, woven into the fabric of Europe's collective consciousness. But what if the Templars didn't just vanish? What if instead of being wiped out, they simply went underground, continuing their work in the shadows, influencing world events from behind the scenes? One of the most compelling theories regarding the fate of the Templars after their official disbandment is the idea that they became part of a larger, global network of secret societies. This theory hinges on the assumption that the Templars didn't simply surrender their vast knowledge and influence when they were stripped of their lands and titles. Instead, they embedded themselves within other organizations, often in the form of secretive brotherhoods, societies, and orders that operated out of the public eye. One of the most famous of these groups, according to some, is the Freemasons. Freemasonry, with its intricate rituals, symbols, and deep ties to both religious and philosophical traditions, is often cited as the direct descendant of the Templars. The connection between the Templars and Freemasons is not just speculation. The two organizations share a wealth of symbolism and teachings that seem strikingly similar. Both groups are known for their use of geometry, particularly sacred geometry, as a way of understanding the divine order of the universe. The Templar cross, the square and compass, the pentagram, all of these symbols appear in both Templar architecture and Masonic lodges. It is said that many of the greatest minds in history, from kings to philosophers to inventors, were associated with Freemasonry, and some believe this is no coincidence. If the Templars did indeed hide their knowledge within Freemasonry, then the mysteries they guarded, perhaps the secrets of the universe, lost knowledge from the ancient world, or the truth about their hidden treasure, could still be preserved, passed down through secret rites and rituals. But what if the Templars' influence went even further? Some researchers suggest that the order's reach was not confined to Europe. In the years following their dissolution, Templar survivors are believed to have fled to other parts of the world, carrying with them not only their wealth and knowledge, but also the secrets of their ancient rituals. One of the most fascinating aspects of this theory is the idea that the Templars may have established a hidden presence in the New World long before Christopher Columbus ever set sail. There is a persistent theory that the Templars traveled across the Atlantic, possibly to North America, where they established secret colonies and hid their treasure. This idea is bolstered by various enigmatic symbols found in North America, including the famous Newport Tower in Rhode Island, which some believe is a remnant of Templar influence. The evidence for Templar presence in the New World, however tenuous, has been the subject of intense speculation for centuries. The presence of mysterious stone markers in the Americas, some etched with Templar-like crosses, has led many to believe that the order ventured across the Atlantic, seeking refuge from persecution and perhaps continuing their search for the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, or other sacred artifacts. Some proponents of this theory argue that the Templars used their advanced knowledge of navigation, astronomy, and cartography to make their way to the New World, long before the age of European exploration. Further supporting this theory are the numerous accounts of Templar-related symbols found in remote parts of the world. In places as far-flung as the Americas, Australia, and the Caribbean, researchers have uncovered mysterious stone carvings, inscriptions, and relics that seem to trace back to the Templars. The possibility that the Templars established colonies in these regions, perhaps hidden from the eyes of history, is a tantalizing one. Could the Knights Templar have been the first Europeans to set foot on the American continent? And if so, what was their purpose there? Was it to hide their treasures, to continue their spiritual quests, or to lay the groundwork for future generations to unlock the secrets of their ancient knowledge? But even if the Templars did not venture across the ocean, their influence could have spread in more subtle ways. In the centuries following their disbandment, the order's mysteries were absorbed into the broader currents of European thought and culture. Many of the intellectual movements that shaped the Renaissance, such as the rediscovery of classical texts, the rise of alchemy, and the study of sacred geometry, share striking similarities with the Templar worldview. Some historians argue that the Templars, through their network of secret societies and their encrypted knowledge, played a significant role in fostering the intellectual revolution that would lead to the rise of modern science and philosophy. This connection between the Templars and the intellectual movements of the Renaissance raises an important question. Did the Templars have a hand in shaping the direction of history? Some argue that the order's knowledge of sacred geometry, astronomy, and alchemy was not just passed down through secret societies, but was directly responsible for the advancements made by some of the greatest minds of the Renaissance. Figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Isaac Newton, and Michelangelo, among others, were all deeply involved in the study of sacred geometry and alchemy. Was their work influenced by the hidden knowledge of the Templars? And if so, what does this say about the true source of the Renaissance's intellectual explosion? While the Templars' direct influence on these movements may never be fully confirmed, one thing remains clear. Their legacy is far from gone. The symbols, the knowledge, and the mysteries they left behind continue to intrigue and inspire. Whether through their supposed connection to Freemasonry, their secret presence in the New World, or their role in the intellectual upheavals of the Renaissance, the Templars' hidden hand seems to have guided the course of history in ways that are still being uncovered today. The true extent of their influence remains shrouded in mystery. But as long as the search continues, whether it's the search for hidden treasure, lost knowledge, or the keys to understanding the universe, the Knights Templar will remain one of history's most enduring and fascinating enigmas. In the end, the story of the Templars is not just about knights in shining armor or ancient treasure hunts. It is about the power of secrets, the enduring quest for knowledge, and the lengths to which people will go to preserve that knowledge, even in the face of persecution and destruction. The Templars' true legacy may not lie in the gold they amassed or the battles they fought, but in the profound wisdom they safeguarded, knowledge that continues to ripple through history and shape our understanding of the world. As the search for their hidden legacy persists, it seems that the Templars' story is far from finished. Their secrets are still waiting to be discovered. And perhaps, in the end, it is this very mystery that ensures their place in the annals of history. In the centuries following their dissolution, the mystery surrounding the Knights Templar has only deepened. Far from being relegated to the annals of medieval history, the Order's secrets have become the focus of an ongoing quest. Treasure hunters, occultists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike have spent their lives chasing the shadow of the Templars. But what exactly are they searching for? Most believe the Templars left behind not only a vast fortune, but also a cache of knowledge so powerful that if unlocked, it could change the very foundations of modern civilization. The allure of this treasure, whether it's material wealth or ancient wisdom, continues to fuel the search. But what if the true Templar treasure isn't what we think it is? What if the treasure is something far more elusive, something hidden in plain sight? For centuries, the story of the Templar treasure has been a tantalizing mix of fact and fiction. According to many legends, the Templars possessed a vast hoard of gold, artifacts, and religious relics, including, perhaps, the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. Some have even suggested that the Templars discovered lost knowledge that predated Christianity, knowledge that could revolutionize humanity's understanding of the universe. The idea that the Templars were guardians of such a profound secret has captivated generations, with the hunt for their treasure becoming a kind of modern mythos. But is the treasure real, or has it become a symbol of something much deeper? The most widely accepted theory is that the Templars, in their travels to the Holy Land during the Crusades, uncovered something extraordinary, a relic or a cache of ancient knowledge. Some scholars have pointed to the Templars' involvement with the excavation beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. There, it is believed that they uncovered ancient artifacts hidden away for centuries. These items may have included sacred texts or religious relics that could reveal the true nature of early Christianity, possibly even pointing to a different interpretation of Christ's teachings. The notion that the Templars possessed such knowledge was so threatening that, some argue, it led to their downfall. But what if this treasure was not physical at all? What if the Templars' true treasure was an idea, a knowledge so powerful that it had to be hidden from the public? In the years after their disbandment, many of the Templar Knights fled to other parts of Europe, taking their secrets with them. The most famous of these refuges was Scotland, where the remnants of the Templar Order supposedly merged with other secret societies, such as the Freemasons. Some believe that the Templars passed down their knowledge of sacred geometry, alchemy, and mystical traditions to these societies, who in turn carried it forward into the modern age. According to these theories, the Templars' treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but the very knowledge they had protected for centuries. This idea of hidden knowledge as the true treasure of the Templars is central to the ongoing mystery of their legacy. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of prominent individuals who were said to have been influenced by this lost knowledge. Figures like Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, and even Christopher Columbus have all been associated with esoteric traditions that are said to trace their origins back to the Templars. These men, and many others, are often viewed as being part of a secret intellectual elite who possessed knowledge that was unavailable to the general public, knowledge that, in some cases, they may have inherited from the Templars. The presence of sacred symbols and rituals shared by both the Templars and Freemasons has led many to believe that the Templars passed their secrets down through secret societies. For example, the use of the square and compass, the Templar cross, and other symbols associated with Freemasonry can be traced back to the Templars' time. But what is the significance of these symbols? Could they be part of a larger, hidden map? Some have suggested that these symbols are not just abstract representations, but actually encode information, a kind of ancient code that can only be understood by those initiated into the mysteries of the Templars. To this day, some of the world's most powerful individuals are rumored to be part of these secret societies, continuing the Templars' work behind the scenes. Whether or not these organizations are directly connected to the Templars, they're certainly steeped in the same mysticism and esoteric knowledge that the Templars supposedly possessed. From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, the idea that powerful elites continue to guard the secrets of the Templars has been a consistent theme in conspiracy theories. Some believe that these secret societies are not just preserving ancient knowledge, but actively shaping world events, pulling strings behind the scenes to maintain control over global affairs. But it's not just secret societies that are linked to the Templars' hidden legacy. Over the centuries, a number of famous locations around the world have been associated with the Order's secret activities. One of the most well-known is Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, a site that has become a focal point of Templar lore. According to some, the chapel is a repository of Templar secrets, and its intricate carvings and symbols contain hidden messages about the Order's lost treasure and the knowledge it guarded. The chapel's famous apprentice pillar, for instance, is said to contain clues to the location of the Templar treasure, or perhaps the ultimate truth behind their rise and fall. Other locations in Europe, particularly in France and Spain, have also been linked to the Templars' hidden treasure. The town of Rennes-le-Château in southern France is perhaps the most famous example. Here, a priest named Berenger Saunière is said to have discovered a hidden treasure in the late 19th century, which many believe is connected to the Templars. Saunière's mysterious wealth, as well as his obsession with esoteric knowledge, has led many to speculate that he uncovered something extraordinary, perhaps related to the Templars' lost treasure or their hidden religious knowledge. These locations, along with others scattered across Europe and beyond, suggest that the Templars' treasure was not a singular hoard of gold or relics, but a complex network of secrets, encoded in places of spiritual significance. Whether it's a chapel, a tomb, or a hidden underground chamber, the belief persists that the Templars left behind clues that can still be deciphered if one knows where to look. But the search for the Templar treasure is not just about uncovering hidden riches. It is, in many ways, a search for truth, a search for answers to some of the most fundamental questions about history, religion, and the nature of human existence. What did the Templars know? What secrets did they uncover in the Holy Land? And why did they go to such great lengths to protect them? And, perhaps most importantly, why do they go to such extreme measures to hide their knowledge from the rest of the world? The mystery of the Templars is not one that can easily be solved. Every answer seems to lead to more questions, and the deeper one digs, the more elusive the treasure becomes. Perhaps this is why the search for the Templar treasure has endured for so long. Not because it is a simple quest for gold, but because it represents the timeless human desire for knowledge, for understanding the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface of our world. Whether or not the Templars' treasure will ever be found is uncertain. But one thing is clear: their legacy will continue to fascinate, intrigue, and inspire people for generations to come. The story of the Knights Templar, as we have come to understand it, is one of intrigue, power, and a never-ending chase for lost secrets. However, to truly understand the scope of the Templars' impact, one must look at the darker side of their legend. Behind the veil of their chivalric honor and religious piety lies a web of complex, often unsettling mysteries that hint at an even deeper conspiracy, one that stretches far beyond their official history. These mysteries, many of which have been suppressed, distorted, or forgotten by mainstream history, raise profound questions about the true nature of the Templars' role in shaping the modern world. While the Order of the Templars was ostensibly disbanded in the early 14th century, the ripple effects of their actions have continued throughout the centuries, often in ways that the general public would never expect. Many of the esoteric traditions and secret knowledge associated with the Templars have found their way into powerful organizations and movements, some of which still hold significant sway over global affairs today. The Freemasons, the Illuminati, and other secret societies are often cited as direct heirs of the Templar legacy. But what lies behind these organizations? What are the Templars truly seeking in their esoteric pursuits, and what do they still want us to know? It is important to recognize that the Templars' influence was not confined solely to Europe. Their network of spies, allies, and sympathizers extended across the known world, stretching from the Holy Land to distant parts of the globe. The Templars were, in many ways, the first truly global organization. Their wealth, military might, and intelligence network gave them the ability to operate on an international scale, transcending national borders and religious divides. This allowed them to maintain a hidden influence on global events for centuries after their official dissolution. This global presence, however, has remained shrouded in secrecy. Many historians suggest that the Templars were involved in the early exploration of the Americas, long before Columbus. The idea that the Templars might have discovered the New World and established secret colonies has been one of the most enduring and controversial theories surrounding their legacy. Some claim that the Templars fled to the Americas to escape persecution in Europe, bringing with them their treasure and their sacred knowledge. Could it be possible that the Templars were among the first Europeans to set foot in the Americas? And if so, what might they have found there? Or what might they have hidden? One of the most famous pieces of evidence cited by proponents of the Templar America theory is the mysterious Newport Tower in Rhode Island. This structure, believed by some to be a Templar site, has baffled researchers for centuries. The tower's construction is unlike anything else in the region, and it bears striking similarities to architectural designs found in Europe, particularly those associated with the Templars. Could this be a marker of their presence in the New World? And if the Templars did indeed establish a presence in North America, what might they have been doing there? Some theorists suggest that they were hiding ancient relics or seeking to protect their sacred knowledge. The idea that the Templars could have left behind hidden symbols or artifacts in North America, marking their secret presence, is a thrilling notion that continues to fascinate researchers and enthusiasts alike. But the mystery surrounding the Templars' global activities extends far beyond the Americas. The influence of the Templars can be traced across the ancient world, from the far reaches of the Middle East to the far-flung corners of Europe. The Templars were known to have maintained extensive networks in both the Islamic and Christian worlds, which gave them unique access to knowledge that was otherwise inaccessible. Many historians argue that this access allowed the Templars to acquire and preserve ancient texts, relics, and sacred knowledge that had been lost or suppressed by other religious institutions. The Templars, with their vast network, were perfectly positioned to serve as custodians of this knowledge, ensuring that it was passed down through the generations, hidden but not forgotten. This knowledge, some believe, is the key to understanding the true power of the Templars. What did they uncover during their time in the Holy Land? What secrets did they learn from their interactions with both Muslim and Christian scholars? And how did they use this information to further their own agenda? Some scholars suggest that the Templars were actively involved in the study of alchemy, sacred geometry, and other mystical practices. These disciplines, often shrouded in secrecy, are said to hold the key to unlocking hidden truths about the nature of reality itself. The Templars' obsession with the Holy Grail and other ancient relics is perhaps the most famous aspect of their legend. But what if their true quest was not for a physical object, but for a deeper, more metaphysical understanding of the universe? Could the Templars have been searching for a way to unlock the hidden potential of the human mind? Some believe that the Templars were not just knights protecting religious relics, but seekers of hidden knowledge that could allow them to transcend the limitations of the physical world. This quest for enlightenment, often referred to as illumination, is central to many of the esoteric traditions that the Templars allegedly passed down to later secret societies. In the centuries following the fall of the Templar Order, many of the teachings and symbols of the Templars were absorbed into other organizations, most notably the Freemasons. The Freemasons, in their modern form, claim no direct connection to the Templars, but the similarities in their rituals, symbols, and teachings are undeniable. The use of sacred geometry, the veneration of ancient knowledge, and the pursuit of enlightenment, all of these elements are common to both groups. In fact, some have argued that the Freemasons are the spiritual successors to the Templars, continuing the order's work of guarding and transmitting hidden knowledge. This connection between the Templars and modern secret societies raises unsettling questions about the true purpose of these organizations. If the Templars were guardians of a hidden truth, and if that truth was passed down through subsequent generations, then what is the ultimate goal of the organizations that claim to carry on the Templar legacy? Some believe that these secret societies are not merely preserving the Templars' teachings, but actively working to shape world events according to their own agenda. The idea that a hidden elite, guided by the principles of the Templars, is manipulating global events from behind the scenes is a powerful and unsettling notion, one that continues to fuel conspiracy theories to this day. But while these theories may seem far-fetched to some, there's an undeniable thread of continuity that connects the Templars with the secret societies of today. The rituals, symbols, and teachings of the Templars have not disappeared. Rather, they have been woven into the fabric of modern esotericism. The question remains, what is the Templar legacy truly about? Is it about treasure, power, and control? Or is it about something more profound, a quest for knowledge that transcends time and space? The truth may be far more elusive than we realize. Perhaps the Templars' greatest secret is not something we can easily find, but rather something we must learn to understand, something hidden not in physical relics, but in the very structure of our beliefs, our symbols, and the world around us. As the mystery of the Templars continues to unfold, one thing remains certain. Their legacy is not merely a relic of the past, but a living, breathing enigma that continues to shape the present and the future in ways we may not yet fully understand. The shadow of the Knights Templar has loomed large in both historical and esoteric realms. And while many myths and legends about the order have circulated, one of the most enduring questions is whether the Templars' fate was truly sealed by King Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V, or whether their influence has persisted in ways that remain largely hidden from the public. Despite their dramatic fall in the early 14th century, it seems as though the Templars' presence in world affairs is far from over. In fact, some argue that their legacy, far from being extinguished, continues to shape not only religious and political ideologies, but also the very framework of modern secret societies and institutions that operate in the shadows to this day. To understand the true depth of the Templar survival, we must consider the nature of their persecution and why they were targeted with such extreme measures by both the French king and the Church. The official narrative tells us that the Templars were disbanded, their assets seized, and their leaders executed after a series of trumped-up charges, including heresy, idolatry, and blasphemy. But what if the official story is incomplete, or worse, a deliberate distortion? Could it be that the Templars were not only destroyed physically, but their true power, their wealth, their knowledge, and their secrets was absorbed into other factions or organizations that were aligned with their hidden agenda? The dramatic trial of the Templars began on Friday, October 13th, 1307, a date that would later become synonymous with bad luck in popular folklore. King Philip IV, known as Philip the Fair, had a long-standing financial and political rivalry with the Templars, who had grown wealthy and influential throughout Europe. Faced with mounting debts to the order and the need to expand his influence, Philip decided to take drastic action. With the full backing of Pope Clement V, he ordered the mass arrest of Templar knights across France, accusing them of heresy, sodomy, and secret rituals, including the worship of a mysterious idol known as Baphomet. The result was a swift and brutal dismantling of the order, with many of its leaders, including the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, burned at the stake. However, the question that continues to haunt historians is, why did such a powerful institution fall so quickly? After all, the Templars had been a formidable military force, deeply entrenched in the politics of both Christendom and the Muslim world. They controlled vast amounts of wealth, land, and knowledge, and yet, within a matter of months, they were systematically destroyed. Some historians believe that the order was betrayed from within, possibly by rival factions or agents of the king, but others argue that the Templars may have orchestrated their own downfall as part of a greater, hidden plan. Perhaps their dissolution was not the end, but rather a carefully calculated step in an even larger scheme. This is where the narrative begins to shift. While many believe that the Templars' destruction was final, the idea that they secretly survived and even thrived in the years following their formal disbandment is a powerful and tantalizing theory. According to this alternative history, the Templars didn't simply vanish into obscurity. Instead, they fled to the far corners of the earth, taking their treasure, knowledge, and sacred symbols with them. The Knights Templar may have quietly transitioned into new roles, continuing their work under the guise of other organizations and individuals. One of the most intriguing theories about the survival of the Templars is their possible connection to the Freemasons. The similarities between the two groups are striking, particularly in their use of secretive symbols, rituals, and hierarchical structures. The most notable of these is the Templar cross, which can be found in many Masonic lodges, alongside other symbols such as the all-seeing eye and the compass and square. Some believe that the Freemasons inherited the Templars' hidden knowledge, including their sacred geometry, alchemy, and philosophies, and that the two groups are part of an ongoing lineage of esoteric knowledge that has been passed down through the centuries. The idea that the Templars might have survived as Freemasons, or through other secret societies, is further supported by the historical records of various prominent figures who were either known Freemasons or linked to esoteric traditions. For example, Isaac Newton, one of the most influential scientists in history, is believed to have been not only a Freemason, but also a deeply engaged practitioner of alchemy and occult sciences. Newton's obsession with the hidden secrets of the universe, his study of sacred geometry, and his interest in the mystical traditions of the Templars have led many to speculate that his work was influenced by ancient Templar knowledge. Another figure who is often linked to the Templars is Christopher Columbus. While Columbus is traditionally remembered for his voyages to the New World, some researchers believe that his explorations were part of a larger, secretive agenda. According to some theories, Columbus was not merely searching for new trade routes, but was actually retracing the steps of the Templars, seeking lost treasures, or even seeking to re-establish a Templar presence in the Americas. Columbus's connection to secret societies, particularly Freemasonry, has been a point of interest for many conspiracy theorists, as he is said to have been a member of several esoteric groups that could have had ties to the Templars. In this view, Columbus's voyages were more than just a quest for discovery. They were a mission to reclaim and preserve the Templar legacy. Yet, the connection between the Templars and Freemasonry is not limited to just a few isolated historical figures. Over the centuries, Freemasonry has expanded globally, and many prominent individuals throughout history have been associated with the Masons. From George Washington to Winston Churchill, many of the world's most influential leaders have been members of this secret society. The question arises, why would so many powerful individuals be drawn to an organization that, on the surface, espouses fraternity, charity, and moral teachings? Could it be that Freemasonry is merely a cover for a deeper, more esoteric purpose, one that involves the continued preservation and dissemination of Templar secrets? The answer, perhaps, lies in the enduring allure of the Templars' ancient knowledge. The pursuit of enlightenment, power, and transcendence has always been a driving force for those in the highest echelons of society. The Templars, with their vast accumulation of sacred knowledge, alchemical wisdom, and hidden teachings, may have held the keys to these goals. And in a world where knowledge is power, it's not surprising that many of the most influential figures in history would seek to align themselves with the Templars' legacy, whether consciously or unconsciously. In this sense, the Templars' survival after their supposed fall becomes less of a historical anomaly and more of a continuation of a hidden tradition. The Templars didn't simply disappear. They integrated themselves into the fabric of modern secret societies and esoteric movements, which continue to shape global events and societal structures to this day. Whether through Freemasonry, the Illuminati, or other shadowy organizations, the Templars' influence is far from extinguished. It persists in the hidden corridors of power, guiding the fate of nations, religions, and societies in ways we may never fully understand. In conclusion, the true legacy of the Templars is one that extends far beyond their physical existence. Their knowledge, wealth, and symbols have been absorbed into the very fabric of modern society, and their influence continues to shape the world in ways both subtle and profound. As we peel back the layers of history, we begin to see that the Templars, far from being relegated to the past, are still a living presence, one that continues to guide and inspire those who seek the hidden truths of the universe. As we delve deeper into the enduring mysteries of the Knights Templar, we come face to face with an idea that has persisted for centuries: the possibility that the Templars, or at least the ideas they represented, were never truly gone. Though their physical order was dismantled in the 14th century, the seeds they planted in their rise to power have flourished into an intricate network of hidden influence, powerful allegiances, and secretive rituals that remain active to this day. As we continue to explore this remarkable and enigmatic legacy, it becomes clear that the Templars were not just warriors in the religious battles of the medieval period. They were also, and perhaps most importantly, custodians of a powerful and arcane knowledge that has been passed down through the centuries in a series of secretive underground societies. At the heart of this mystery is the question of what exactly the Templars were seeking and what they may have uncovered during their time in the Holy Land. Most historians agree that their sudden and immense wealth came from the pilgrims they served, as well as their involvement in banking and trade across Europe. But there is another, deeper question. What were the Templars looking for in Jerusalem, and why did they form such a powerful alliance with the Church and the monarchies of Europe? What knowledge could they have uncovered there that would have been so dangerous, so earth-shattering, that would require such elaborate secrecy and protection? One of the most intriguing possibilities lies in the legend of the Holy Grail. Over the centuries, countless theories have emerged suggesting that the Grail was not just a cup, but a powerful, symbolic object representing hidden knowledge or a long-lost truth. The idea that the Grail might hold the key to some deeper, spiritual enlightenment has captured the imagination of people around the world. But could the Templars have discovered this very secret during their time in Jerusalem? According to some alternative historians, the Templars didn't simply serve the Church or protect Christian pilgrims. They were actively searching for ancient knowledge, seeking answers to questions that lay at the heart of the universe's deepest mysteries. This knowledge, some believe, could have been hidden for centuries, only to be unlocked by those with the courage and wisdom to pursue it. Perhaps the most compelling theory about the Templar Grail legend connects their mission to the ancient texts and sacred symbols that had been preserved by the Byzantine and Eastern Orthodox Church. These documents, some of which were believed to date back to the earliest days of Christianity, contained obscure references to secret teachings that had been suppressed or lost over time. The Templars, whose mission brought them into direct contact with various religious scholars, may have had access to these hidden texts. These teachings, which blended elements of Gnosticism, early Christianity, and even pagan mysticism, were thought by some to be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the Grail. But the Grail itself, whether viewed as a physical artifact or a metaphorical symbol, is not the only potential source of the Templars' enigmatic knowledge. Another avenue worth exploring is the possibility that the Templars came into contact with ancient civilizations that had knowledge far beyond their time. Civilizations that predated the biblical era and that may have left behind cryptic messages and advanced technologies. Some researchers suggest that the Templars, in their travels, might have encountered remnants of lost civilizations, such as Atlantis or other ancient cultures. These lost cultures, in this view, could have passed down advanced knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and sacred science that was preserved in secret. The most tantalizing evidence of this theory is the Templars' obsession with sacred geometry. The use of geometric patterns, such as the Pythagorean theorem, the Fibonacci sequence, and the golden ratio, has been a hallmark of many ancient civilizations, and the Templars, with their deep understanding of the mysteries of the natural world, would have been uniquely positioned to explore these concepts. It is said that the Templars used sacred geometry in their construction of churches, castles, and other monumental buildings as a way of embedding hidden knowledge into the very fabric of their physical world. This knowledge, encoded in architectural designs, was intended to guide future generations toward a deeper understanding of the divine order of the universe. The idea that the Templars were using sacred geometry as a tool for spiritual enlightenment raises another question. What did they believe about the nature of reality itself? Did the Templars believe that the material world was just a veil for a higher, spiritual truth? Were they, in some sense, seeking a way to transcend the limitations of the physical world and tap into an unseen realm of knowledge and power? Some theories suggest that the Templars' quest for enlightenment was not just about understanding the world around them, but also about transcending it, seeking to reach a state of divine illumination or even immortality. This pursuit of transcendence, some believe, could explain why they were so fiercely protective of their secrets and why their teachings were passed down in such a hidden and selective manner. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Templars' legacy is the role they have played in the creation and perpetuation of secret societies. As mentioned earlier, The Freemasons are often cited as the spiritual successors of the Templars, but the connection between the two groups goes beyond mere symbolism. The Freemasons, like the Templars, were deeply involved in the study of sacred geometry, alchemy, and other esoteric disciplines, and many of their rituals and symbols are strikingly similar to those of the Templars. Some researchers argue that the Freemasons inherited not just the symbols, but also the knowledge of the Templars, preserving it in secret for future generations. The question, then, is not just how the Templars' influence has survived, but how it continues to shape our world today. As we look at the modern world, it becomes apparent that many of the world's most influential organizations, whether in politics, finance, or religion, continue to operate in ways that suggest they are guided by the principles and philosophies of the Templars. These organizations, whether they are Freemasons, secret societies, or even global political elites, appear to be the inheritors of the Templars' esoteric teachings, and some believe that they are still working toward the same goals the Templars pursued: the discovery of hidden knowledge, the pursuit of spiritual illumination, and the control of world events through the manipulation of symbols, ideas, and power. The modern fascination with secret societies, conspiracies, and hidden knowledge is a testament to the ongoing allure of the Templars' mystery. Despite their official dissolution centuries ago, the Order's influence endures, quietly shaping the course of human history and drawing new generations of seekers to explore the deeper questions of existence. The Templars' journey was never just about wealth, power, or military conquest. At its heart, the Templar story is one of seeking something more profound, a truth that transcends time, a wisdom that can reshape reality, and a secret that, even today, continues to be passed down through the centuries. As we peel back the layers of their history, we realize that the Templars' greatest legacy may not be their treasure or their military might, but the mysterious knowledge they protected, knowledge that remains just beyond our grasp, waiting to be uncovered by those who dare to look. The enigma of the Knights Templar is not confined to the past. Their shadow stretches across the centuries, casting doubt and curiosity on the very fabric of history. While the official narrative tells of their fall, their persecution by King Philip IV and Pope Clement V, and the eventual dissolution of their order, there's a growing body of evidence that suggests the Templars' influence did not end with their violent disbandment. In fact, some argue that their true mission was far more complex than simply protecting pilgrims or guarding treasures. Instead, it appears that the Knights Templar were a group far ahead of their time, possessing knowledge, power, and secrets that could change the course of history. Knowledge that, in some sense, still exerts influence today. Perhaps one of the most fascinating and persistent theories about the Templars is the idea that they were not merely medieval warriors, but keepers of an ancient and esoteric wisdom, the nature of which remains elusive. This wisdom was not simply religious in nature. It was a deeper understanding of the universe, hidden truths that have been passed down through generations of mystery schools and occult traditions. To comprehend the true significance of the Templars, one must first understand the context in which they arose and the extraordinary access to knowledge they likely had, both in Europe and in the Middle East. The Templars' roots were firmly planted in the soil of the Crusades, a period of intense conflict and religious zeal. Yet beyond the political and military campaigns, the Crusades represented an age of profound cultural exchange. As the Templars journeyed to Jerusalem and beyond, they came into contact with scholars, philosophers, and mystics from both the Christian and Islamic worlds. The intellectual currents of this period were charged with the rediscovery of ancient wisdom, Greek and Roman philosophies, as well as Eastern mysticism, alchemy, and astrology. The Templars were uniquely positioned at the crossroads of these diverse traditions, giving them access to a wealth of knowledge that had been suppressed or lost in Europe for centuries. This knowledge wasn't merely academic. It contained hidden truths, principles of sacred geometry, and mystical symbols that were believed to hold the keys to understanding the divine order of the universe. For example, the Templars' use of the sacred geometry, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, and the Pythagorean theorem was not just a mathematical interest. These geometric patterns were seen as a reflection of divine harmony and were believed to encode a deeper understanding of creation itself. In the architectural design of their castles and churches, the Templars embedded these sacred patterns, creating spaces that were not only functional but were believed to channel spiritual energy. The Templars saw the natural world as a manifestation of divine will, and their use of sacred geometry was a way to align their work with the cosmos itself. Beyond geometry, the Templars were also believed to have been initiates into alchemical traditions. Alchemy, far from being simply the pursuit of turning base metals into gold, was a spiritual discipline aimed at achieving enlightenment and transcending the material world. In alchemical philosophy, the transformation of substances was seen as a metaphor for the transformation of the soul. The Templars, with their access to ancient wisdom, may have been involved in this hidden science, seeking to transmute not only metals but also their own consciousness. This alchemical knowledge could have been passed down through secret teachings, encoded in symbols and rituals that were carefully preserved and transmitted to future generations. But what was the true purpose of the Templars' quest for knowledge? Some believe that the Order's ultimate goal was not simply the accumulation of wealth or power, but the unlocking of a secret that had been hidden for millennia. This secret, often referred to as the arcane knowledge, is thought to have been a direct connection to the divine, an understanding that transcended religious dogma and offered a path to enlightenment. According to some esoteric traditions, the Templars were in search of a hidden truth that could elevate humanity, an ancient wisdom that could bridge the gap between the material world and the spiritual realm. The Templars' pursuit of this wisdom led them to become not just warriors and bankers, but spiritual seekers and keepers of a higher knowledge. This connection to the divine and the hidden knowledge they sought would explain why they were so fiercely protective of their secrets. These secrets, some argue, were not merely religious or political. They were existential in nature. The Templars were guarding the very key to understanding life, death, and the nature of reality itself. This esoteric knowledge, however, was not easily shared. After the Templars' dissolution, their teachings were likely hidden, preserved in cryptic symbols and rituals, and passed on to those deemed worthy of their secrets. As a result, many believe that the Templars' knowledge was embedded in a variety of secret societies that emerged over the centuries. One of the most notable of these societies is the Freemasons, who are often believed to be the spiritual heirs to the Templars. The Freemasons' rituals and symbols, the compass, the square, the all-seeing eye, are strikingly similar to those of the Templars, leading many to conclude that the Masons inherited the Templars' esoteric knowledge and kept it alive in secret. But the connection between the Templars and Freemasonry is not the only one worth exploring. Over the centuries, other secret societies and movements have emerged, many of which are believed to have been influenced by the Templars. The Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, and even the Knights of Columbus have been associated with the Templars, either through shared symbols, rituals, or philosophies. These groups, like the Templars before them, were seen as keepers of forbidden knowledge, passing it down from one generation to the next in an unbroken line of secrecy. The question that arises is, why would so many powerful groups and individuals continue to seek out the Templars' secrets? What is the nature of this hidden knowledge that is so irresistible to those in positions of power? The answer may lie in the belief that the Templars' wisdom was not just spiritual, but had the potential to unlock immense power. In the hands of those who understood its true nature, this knowledge could be used to shape the course of history itself. This is why, even today, some of the world's most influential leaders and elites are believed to be part of these secret societies, groups that, in their own way, are continuing the Templar legacy and seeking the same hidden truths that the original Knights Templar sought. In the modern world, the idea that secret societies hold the key to unlocking hidden knowledge has only gained traction. Conspiracy theories about global elites, secret rulers, and the influence of occult societies abound, with many suggesting that the Templars' knowledge is still being guarded and passed down through these covert channels. Whether through Freemasonry, the Illuminati, or other secret organizations, the legacy of the Templars appears to be alive and well, continuing to influence events and shape the future in ways we can only begin to understand. This persistent interest in the Templars and their hidden knowledge is not merely the product of historical curiosity or wild speculation. It speaks to a deeper, more universal human desire for truth, enlightenment, and power. The Templars' journey, with its quest for divine wisdom and hidden secrets, reflects a fundamental yearning to transcend the limitations of the physical world and reach towards something greater. Whether or not the Templars' ultimate goal was achieved remains a mystery, but their legacy, in all its secretive, arcane glory, endures, continuing to capture the imagination and intrigue of those who seek the truth. As we approach the final chapters of the Knights Templar's story, the question that looms large is not just what they knew, but how that knowledge shaped the world we live in today. The Templars were, in many ways, the perfect storm of mysticism, power, and secrecy. They began as a small, humble order of warrior monks in the turbulent times of the Crusades. But over the course of just a few centuries, they transformed into a global power with vast wealth, influence, and access to knowledge that would change history forever. Their rise was meteoric, their fall violent and sudden, and their legacy, far from being erased, has continued to resonate throughout history in a myriad of unexpected ways. It is often said that history is written by the victors, but in the case of the Templars, it seems that their legacy is not easily silenced. Despite the brutal suppression they faced at the hands of King Philip IV and Pope Clement V, the influence of the Templars has persisted, subtly shaping the course of history through secret societies, hidden symbols, and mysterious rituals. The Templars' downfall, their disbandment in 1312, was not the end of their story. In fact, some believe that the Templars' greatest power emerged after their official dissolution. With their order fractured and their physical presence eradicated, the true nature of the Templar legacy was hidden, passed down in cryptic messages, secret rites, and concealed codes that have remained largely untouched for centuries. One of the most persistent aspects of the Templar mystery is the question of their hidden treasure. The popular narrative suggests that the Templars amassed vast riches over their centuries of influence. They were, after all, early pioneers in banking and finance, and their involvement in the Crusades gave them access to a staggering amount of wealth. But despite the fall of their order, the treasure that many believe they accumulated has never been conclusively found. Some scholars argue that the Templars' wealth was not just material, but esoteric, knowledge, artifacts, and symbols that represented a far greater treasure than gold or silver. Many theories surrounding the Templar treasure suggest that it may have been something far more valuable than money, a hidden collection of ancient texts, religious artifacts, or even knowledge of a long-lost civilization. The most popular and enduring theory is that the Templars discovered or were entrusted with the Holy Grail, the cup said to have been used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. According to this legend, the Grail held not only great religious significance, but also esoteric and spiritual wisdom that could change the course of human history. Some suggest that the Templars, in their secretive quest, were tasked with protecting this sacred relic, which they believed contained knowledge that could bring humanity closer to divine enlightenment. But as we've seen before, the Grail may not have been a physical object at all. It could have represented a deeper, more abstract understanding, a key to unlocking the mysteries of life, death, and the universe itself. Another possibility, often associated with the Templar treasure, is the idea that the Templars may have uncovered ancient documents or sacred manuscripts, texts that challenge the official narrative of Christianity. These texts could have contained hidden teachings, alternative interpretations of religious history, or even suppressed Gnostic scriptures that provided a radically different understanding of Jesus Christ's life and message. Some researchers believe that the Templars were in possession of these forbidden texts, which they kept hidden from the authorities in order to preserve their secrets. The idea that the Templars were the guardians of ancient knowledge that contradicted the established religious doctrine is a compelling one, especially when we consider the Templars' deep connections to esoteric traditions and their involvement with scholars from diverse religious backgrounds during their time in the Holy Land. The connection between the Templars and suppressed religious knowledge is not just confined to the Grail or Gnostic texts. Many believe that the Templars were deeply involved in the study of the Kabbalah, the ancient mystical teachings of Judaism. The Templars' fascination with the mystical and the occult is evident in their rituals, symbols, and practices, many of which contain elements that align with Kabbalistic teachings. Kabbalah, with its focus on understanding the hidden nature of reality and the divine, may have been a key influence on the Templars' own spiritual practices. It is said that the Templars, in their pursuit of enlightenment, were not just looking for material wealth, but for the keys to the inner mysteries of the universe, a pursuit that could explain their obsession with sacred geometry, alchemy, and the search for lost knowledge. The Kabbalistic influence on the Templars is just one of many esoteric traditions that may have shaped their worldview. Throughout history, the Templars' association with secret societies such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and even the Illuminati has fueled speculation about their true motives and their ongoing influence. The symbols and rituals of these societies bear striking resemblances to those of the Templars, suggesting that they may have inherited or been inspired by the Templar tradition. The Freemasons, in particular, have long been linked to the Templars with many Masonic symbols, including the compass, square, and the all-seeing eye, believed to have been derived from Templar iconography. This connection between the Templars and modern secret societies raises the intriguing possibility that the Templar legacy has never truly faded, but has instead evolved into a hidden power structure that continues to shape the world today. But why would these secret societies, operating in the shadows of society, be so focused on preserving the Templars' knowledge? The answer lies in the power of the secrets they guarded. The Templars' wisdom, their understanding of sacred geometry, alchemy, and the divine, was not just spiritual, it was practical. It had the potential to unlock power, wealth, and influence on a global scale. In the hands of the few, this knowledge could be used to manipulate the course of history. Some conspiracy theorists argue that the Templars, through their secret societies, continue to wield influence over world events, shaping politics, economics, and even culture from behind the scenes. Whether or not these claims are true, it is undeniable that the Templars' legacy has left an indelible mark on the world. The fascination with secret societies, hidden knowledge, and the Templars is not merely the stuff of legends or speculative fiction. It reflects a deep-seated human desire to uncover the mysteries of existence, to understand the forces that shape our world and our place within it. The Templars, with their hidden teachings and cryptic symbols, offer a tantalizing glimpse into a world of mystery and power that lies just beyond our grasp. Whether or not the Templars truly held the keys to ancient secrets, their story remains one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. And as long as their legacy endures, we will continue to seek answers, hoping that one day, the truths they guarded so fiercely will be revealed, and that the secrets of the Templar Order will finally be brought to light. As the centuries passed, the legends of the Knights Templar evolved from mere stories of warrior monks and mystics into a tapestry of conspiracy theories, occult traditions, and shadowy power structures that continue to intrigue and captivate the imagination of millions. Their downfall, though brutal and sudden, did not mark the end of their influence. Instead, it marked the beginning of a new phase, one where their secrets, hidden knowledge, and symbols continued to weave their way through history, shaping the course of events in ways that were often unseen by the masses. The dissolution of the Templar Order in 1312, orchestrated by King Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V, is often portrayed as the culmination of a long-standing conflict between the Templars and the papacy. But, as we have seen, this narrative may oversimplify the true story. It's easy to assume that the Knights Templar were merely victims of political and religious maneuvering. However, the notion that their downfall was a complete eradication of their influence fails to account for the many mysteries that still surround their supposed disappearance. While many members of the Templar Order were executed or forced to disband, it is widely believed that the organization didn't simply vanish overnight. The hidden knowledge and wealth they possessed were too valuable to be left behind. Numerous theories suggest that the Templars' treasure, both material and esoteric, was smuggled away to secret locations. Some claim that their most sacred artifacts, such as the Holy Grail or ancient manuscripts, were hidden in places such as Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, or even transported to the New World long before Christopher Columbus's journey. These speculations feed into a much larger narrative that the Templars not only survived their downfall, but that they went underground, continuing their ancient mission and guarding the secrets of the Grail, the true nature of Christ, or even the lost knowledge of Atlantis itself. The Templars' connection to the Grail is particularly compelling. In the centuries following their fall, the Grail became one of the most enduring symbols of mystical and spiritual knowledge. The Templars, having spent years in the Holy Land, were uniquely positioned to acquire such knowledge, or at least the story of it. Whether the Grail was an actual physical artifact or represented something more metaphorical, the idea of a divine object that holds the key to immortality and ultimate truth captured the attention of generations. The idea that the Templars were its protectors links them directly to a much larger, hidden tradition of secret knowledge. Perhaps the Grail was not just a relic of Christ, but a symbol of hidden truths, truths that, if revealed, would change the very nature of human understanding. Yet, the Templars' influence did not stop in the Middle Ages. As we move into the Renaissance and beyond, the symbols of the Templars began to appear in the iconography of other groups and movements. Most notably, many of the rituals and symbols of Freemasonry bear striking similarities to those of the Templars. The square, compass, and all-seeing eye are but a few of the Templar symbols that have been absorbed by the Freemasons, whose origins are often believed to be closely tied to the Templars. The Freemasons themselves have long claimed to be the spiritual heirs to the Templars, guardians of the same hidden knowledge that the Templars sought to protect. As secret societies such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and the Illuminati began to form, many researchers and conspiracy theorists have suggested that these groups were created to preserve the legacy of the Templars. The initiation rituals of Freemasonry, for example, bear a striking resemblance to those of the medieval knightly orders, incorporating themes of death, resurrection, and enlightenment. Some even go as far as to claim that these secret societies are not just successors of the Templars, but their living continuation, keeping their ancient wisdom and influence alive in the modern world. It is this hidden legacy of the Templars, their supposed guardianship of forbidden knowledge, and their involvement in the formation of secret societies, that has fueled the imagination of generations. From the time of their fall to the present day, the Templars have remained a symbol of secret power and mysticism. As we look back at their story, it becomes clear that the Templars were not merely medieval warriors with a religious mandate. They were an order that straddled the line between the material and spiritual, the sacred and the occult. They were not only keepers of earthly wealth, but also protectors of hidden truths that transcend the physical world. The enduring allure of the Templars can be found in the fact that they represent something far greater than mere men in armor. They are a symbol of the quest for ultimate truth, a search for knowledge that reaches beyond the limitations of conventional understanding. The Templars' mission, whether they were truly seeking the Grail, esoteric wisdom, or divine illumination, represents humanity's eternal yearning to understand the deeper mysteries of existence. The fact that this knowledge remains hidden, shrouded in layers of symbolism, secrecy, and speculation, only enhances the mystique surrounding the Templars and ensures that their story will continue to capture our imagination. But there's more to the story of the Templars than just their connection to secret societies or their supposed treasure. Their downfall, which many consider to be one of the greatest betrayals in history, speaks to a deeper conflict, a conflict between the forces of power, authority, and secrecy. King Philip IV's persecution of the Templars was not simply a reaction to their wealth. It was a clash of worldviews. The Templars, who operated with a code of honor and secrecy, posed a threat to the existing order of church and monarchy. They were an independent power, and their ability to operate outside the control of the church and secular rulers made them a target for those who sought to consolidate power. The execution of the Templars was not the end of their story, but rather a turning point. It was a demonstration of the lengths to which the church and the state would go to maintain control over the flow of knowledge and power. The Templars' execution was not just the elimination of an order. It was the suppression of ideas and traditions that challenged the established norm. The Templars' enduring legacy, then, is not just about their treasure or their secrets, but about the power of knowledge and the lengths to which those in power will go to control it. In the centuries that followed, the story of the Templars became more than just a tale of medieval knights. It became a symbol of rebellion against established authority. In a world where knowledge is often guarded and suppressed, the Templars represent the quest for truth, a truth that, even today, remains hidden just out of reach. Their legacy endures not just in the symbols and rituals that continue to circulate through secret societies, but in the ongoing human desire to seek knowledge, uncover hidden truths, and challenge the forces that seek to keep us in the dark. As we look to the future, the question of the Templars' influence is far from settled. Their story, filled with mystery and intrigue, will continue to fascinate and inspire, serving as a reminder of the power of hidden knowledge and the lengths to which those in power will go to control it. Perhaps, as we move further into the 21st century, new revelations about the Templars and their enduring legacy will emerge, further illuminating the shadowy corners of history and revealing truths that have remained hidden for centuries. The Knights Templar, it seems, have never truly disappeared. They have simply evolved into something more elusive, their true purpose and mission remaining a mystery that continues to captivate our imaginations and keep us searching for answers. Even centuries after their dramatic fall, the Templars' influence continues to ripple across history, manifesting in ways subtle yet profound. Their knowledge, symbols, and legends have permeated art, architecture, literature, and even politics, leaving a hidden trail for those willing to look closely. From the mysterious carvings at Rosslyn Chapel to the encoded symbols in medieval cathedrals, the Templars' presence seems to whisper across time, a quiet reminder that their mission may never have truly ended. These symbols are more than decorative. They are keys, guiding future generations toward hidden truths that the Templars sought to preserve. The Templars' obsession with sacred geometry, secret rituals, and esoteric knowledge was not merely an intellectual pursuit. It was a deliberate attempt to map the divine order of the universe and understand humanity's place within it. Each structure they built, each cross they carved, and each ritual they performed was a fragment of a larger cosmic puzzle. For centuries, mainstream history has dismissed these elements as superstition or coincidence. Yet a careful study reveals patterns too precise to ignore. Even today, the fascination with the Templars has inspired countless explorations, from academic research to conspiracy theories, each attempting to uncover the ultimate truth behind their order. Were the Templars merely a medieval military religious organization? Or were they the guardians of knowledge so powerful it could alter civilization itself? The mystery endures, drawing scholars, treasure hunters, and seekers of the esoteric alike into its shadowy depths. In the end, the Templars remain a bridge between the known and the unknown, a reminder that some secrets are never fully lost, only waiting for the right eyes to discover them. The enduring fascination with the Knights Templar is not limited to historians or conspiracy theorists. It resonates deeply within popular culture and the collective imagination. Even centuries after their dissolution, the Templars continue to inspire novels, films, and documentaries, each reinterpreting their story and breathing new life into their legend. Their symbols, such as the Red Cross or mysterious architectural motifs, appear in unexpected places, hinting at a hidden influence that persists in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Yet the true power of the Templars may not have been their wealth or military prowess, but their ability to preserve knowledge, sacred, philosophical, and scientific, that challenges conventional thinking. In this sense, their legacy is timeless, a reminder that the pursuit of hidden truths often transcends the temporal bounds of history. Their story encourages us to question what we accept as reality, to look beneath the surface, and to recognize that the line between myth and truth is often much thinner than we imagine. Ultimately, the Templars represent the eternal human quest for discovery and enlightenment. Their influence, whether real or symbolic, continues to echo through the ages, leaving us to wonder which secrets of their order remain hidden, waiting for the world to uncover them. As we conclude our exploration into the enigmatic legacy of the Knights Templar, it's clear that their story is far from simple. Their rise to power, their eventual fall, and the mysteries they left behind have captivated minds for centuries. But perhaps the greatest question that remains is not whether the Templars left behind treasure or secrets, but what their story truly means for us today. The allure of the Templars is not just about uncovering hidden knowledge or deciphering ancient symbols. It's about the broader human quest for understanding, truth, and the desire to break free from the constraints of the known world. The Templars embody something deeper, the idea that there are still truths waiting to be discovered, that the boundaries of history and knowledge may not be as fixed as we believe. In the end, the Templars' enduring mystery is a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the myths we tell, the secrets we keep, and the questions we continue to ask. As long as we remain curious, the story of the Templars will continue to unfold, offering new revelations and possibilities, and reminding us that sometimes the greatest treasures lie not in what is found, but in what remains hidden.